Hi, Trader Tina here, ShortMeTina.com with my daily recap, continuing my March Blitz series where I do a video every single day, Monday through Friday for the month of March. So I'm going to try not to babble on. I want to just sort of like get straight to the point with these videos. So we always kick it off with the overall markets. I generally tend to talk about the SPY, but there's times where I'll do small cap like the IWM. Sometimes I'll do the QQQ. Very rarely will I touch on the Dow. But anyway, SPY. Oh, and the reason that I do that is I always want to pay attention to what the overall markets are doing, because I always say overall markets first, individual stocks second. So not everyone has that view, but I do. I like to know what the overall markets is doing, because it's going to dictate to me whether or not I should have, open long positions, open short positions, neutral, etc. So anyway, looking at the SPY daily chart, off about 0.5% on the day, close at 381.72. So I've been talking about the SPY for quite some time. So if you kind of want a little bit more color on that, definitely either head over to ShortMeTina.com or our YouTube channel at ShortMeTina.com. So looking at this trend line from March of 2020, the SPY clearly is in an uptrend. We breached this line a few trading days ago. I think it was like last Thursday we breached this line. Then we rallied on Friday, right? I think we rallied to the tune of, it says here, north of 2%. Today, it seems as though we were about to build on that momentum, right? We went as high as 387.68, and I said, okay, wow, that's it. The market's going to run. And then I want to say maybe around 10 or 11 midday, then the market started to pull back, and we actually closed negative on the day. Really interesting position that we find ourselves in at 381.72. So heading into tomorrow, obviously the rest of the week, I'm going to see whether or not this trend line breaks. I feel if it breaks the second time, that shows for me some level of weakness in the market. We're not there yet, but I'm still positioned short, because for me, the market appears relatively weak at this juncture. Hope that makes sense. What else? All right, really quickly on Open Technologies. I know a lot of Chamath's SPACs or stocks have really taken sort of a nosedive, and a lot of investors feel cheated. I am on many levels a huge fan of Chamath. I've been following him before he got famous in this sense. So I said, you know what, let me do a video on one of his holdings. So right now, this is ticker OPEN, Open Technologies. Down about north of 10% on the day, closed at $20.06. You can see here for the last few trading days, the stock has taken quite a hit on above average volume. So you're saying to yourself, if you're long, or if you decided to buy the hype and you bought it like 30 or 20s, where is this going? So for me, definitely in a decline, and I can see it really bouncing off here where the market kind of held it. So if we switch to a line chart, I would say that there's a chance that you're going to get a bounce at that $15 to $16 level. So sitting here at $20.06, I still think there's a potential downside for ticker OPEN. So if you're on the sidelines waiting to get in the trade, I would wait until it gets around 15, 16. I think at that point, your risk reward is a lot more favorable. What else? All right, really quickly, and just FYI, if you hear like those pitter patter, the steps, those are my dogs. Just, I don't know, they're having a good time, or they just like to be known when I'm doing a video. But anyway, so really quickly, this is Apple. So obviously, overall markets first, individual stocks second. And they also say sometimes you might want to look at the quote unquote market leaders to see what the market is telling you. So I'm not going to go through all the market leaders. I want to focus in on Apple because I think this is quite interesting. I'm not quite sure who's selling off, but clearly someone is unloading. You can see here a clear, no ifs, ands about it, a clear break in mid-February. And the stock has been in a decline since then. We're off a little over 4% on the day, closed at 116.36. Whether it's a candlestick view, line view, it looks as though, right, we closed relatively close to session lows. Session lows came in at 116.21. I see a quote here of 116.36. That tells me, or generally speaking, when a stock closes close to session lows, that selling pressure normally continues into the following trading date or following trading week. So I feel that there's more downside with Apple, and there's a gap here. I don't believe it's been filled. A gap to fill around that $97, $99. If I was to take a long position, I would wait until it got there. I mean, it's quite a ways to go, but again, in the markets, and I've been doing this for about 20 years, patience, in my opinion, always is key. So Apple looks like it might be some more downside from here. Someone is clearly unloading. You can see here on above average volume. What else? So I want to say that one thing that's notably different from the videos that I'm doing now versus the videos that I did, let's say last year and the year prior, I don't always look at the line chart, right? It's usually candlesticks. So I wouldn't say that I have a preference. It's really what tells a clearer story to me, right? So there's sometimes I can look at a candlestick view and the points of support and resistance are a lot clearer. Sometimes I look at the line view and the points of support and resistance are a lot clearer. So for ticker ARKK, that's what we're going to do. I know Kathy Wood, I don't think it's an S, has been in the news for a bit, and I'm not quite sure why she's a target. I haven't followed her much. I would say maybe the last 2 or 3, let's say that I didn't know of her. Like I knew of her when she was talking or giving an outrageous price target to Tesla, but I would say within the last month or two, she's definitely at the forefront of the financial markets. And so I'm not quite sure what's going on. But anyway, let's talk about one of her funds here. You can see here also too, this is a line chart, daily chart. It's a line chart. It's also daily time frame going back to March of 2020 when we bottomed during the pandemic. A lot of the stocks that I talk about, I'm looking at it from that standpoint because that's where, in my opinion, the fear subsided, quote unquote. Closed at 110.26. You can see on heavy selling, we topped out a few weeks ago, let's switch to the candlestick view to see exactly where we topped out. Topped out at 159.70, and it's really been downhill since then. You can see clearly a break of the uptrend line, and when that happens, that kind of signals, it doesn't mean that the stock can't reverse, but it does signal to me that there has been a lot of selling. So you ask yourself, where would be a good point to get long, because you want to get long this particular ETF. And for me, since that it's sitting here at 110, I would look to enter anywhere below 100. So in the mid to high 90s to keep things good from a risk reward perspective. But clearly you can see the break here on above average selling. What else? All right, really quickly on AMC. Again, I did a video on AMC a couple of trading days ago. Try to find that so you can get a fuller picture. But, sitting here, it's up about 15% on the day, closed at 920.29. So the volume has subsided a little bit. So I wouldn't be, in my opinion, I wouldn't be inclined to necessarily take this trade because, again, where is the volume? But it's looking like the stock actually wants to, at minimum, retest resistance of around $10 to $12. I think if we can, I say we as in the markets, right? Not that I'm personally in this trade because I'm not. But I think if AMC can successfully penetrate that $10 to $12 resistance level, you can see it here, I think we will now enter another sort of range and box, and that's that $10 to $20 range. So it looks like it's setting up at minimum to at least try to get into this box here. You can see we tried to do it a couple of weeks ago. It couldn't sustain that break, and it looks like it's setting up for another break. So sitting here at 920.29, not really my cup of tea, but if you want to get in, I don't think it's necessarily a bad place or a bad stock to enter based on technicals if you can withstand the volatility. What else? All right, so we're gonna wrap it up and round it out with ticker EYES. I'm not sure why I'm doing this video. I did one on Friday, but feels like I at least need to give a follow-up. Anyway, closed at 1164, up 100% on the day. If you listen to the video that I did on Friday, you would clearly hear me say that these are the type of stocks, because of the low float, that can kind of put up 100, 200% in a day for consecutive days. And that's exactly what happened today, despite that huge run it had on Friday. So granted, the high for today, what's today, the 8th, right? The high for today, and we kind of achieved that in the very early hours of trading, or the first hour or so. We went as high as $14.80 before pulling back to eventually close at $11.64. I'm not quite sure what's going on in after hours. Let's switch to a daily chart here. Let's delete this because that was on a 30-minute time frame. So we kind of are sandwiched in between like the high of the day at 1483 and the low of the day at 875. So we kind of stopped somewhere in the middle, which doesn't necessarily bode negatively heading into trading tomorrow. I would say if I'm looking at price points, right? Let's go back to the 30. I would say if the stock can safely remain above like that 10 to 1050 range, I think it can potentially make another attempt at hitting today's high of 1480 and perhaps even seeing 20. I'm not in the trade. Had I have taken the trade, I would have, as I stated on Friday, I would have wanted to get in somewhere around that mid-5 area. It didn't even give us that chance today because it just kind of like went flying out the gate. Pre-market was crazy, and then it just started running and really never looked back since then. So still relatively in play in my opinion, but it needs to remain above that 10-1050 line. Anything below that, and I think that the sell-in pressure can accelerate. All right, so I did, what was that, 1 2 3 4 5 6 today. I can't promise 6 tomorrow. I'm just trying to sort of recap things that are moving in the market. So that could be 2 stocks tomorrow, 3, whatever. Today just so happens to have been 6. All right, so I definitely want to cap it there. Tina here once again from ShortMeTina.com. If you enjoyed any portion of that video, do a couple of things for me. Definitely comment, like, share. If you know of someone else that's actually trading and they're relatively new to the stock market, and you find value in this, let them know that, hey, did you hear ShortMeTina's video? She does one every single day. I don't know, however you want to say it. That's the first thing. 2, right now what we're doing on our website is we're hosting a free 14-day trading course, essentially detailing a lot of the things in small bites. A lot of the things that I've learned trading the stock market for about 20 years. Believe you me, I've learned a lot, I've lost a lot, I've made a lot, and I've managed to have several years of consistency, and I share some of the things for free, what I have done. So if you want those, what I call valuable lessons, or lessons it's taken me many years to accumulate, if you want to accumulate that in 14 days, definitely head on over to our website, ShortMeTina.com. You don't need a credit card, just a valid email address so we can know where to send the videos to. So again, if you're interested, head on over to ShortMeTina.com and sign up. Thank you for listening. And again, for all those that are still here from years prior, thank you for the support. For those that are new, thank you for the support. And I will talk to you all tomorrow. Be safe and be well.